is the Fade 5 Podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you jackwagons. Brad the Big Noise Evans here, joined by the good son, Nathaniel Lundy. 'Tis indeed the Fade 5 Podcast presented by Suavecito Tequila. And it was a mediocre weekend for yours truly. Somewhat profitable, believe it or not, in the world of college basketball. I'm up one lousy unit, but a plus is still a triumph in the world of sports betting. But it was minus 0.05 units on the 45 wagers I made in the NFL on Sunday. But here is a chance to squander more cash, or maybe actually finish in a profitable side of things. We got Buccaneers, we got Saints tonight. We see a little bit of line movement. Captain Hook, yar, has been taken away on the standard line as it is down to Bucs -3. And the total right now at BetMGM at 40.5. These two teams played earlier this season. It was a 20-10 final. Typically, these games have been of the lower scoring variety. And the Buccaneers did take that first victory. Do you think the Saints exact their revenge, or is it going to be more of the same in Western Florida tonight? What do you got for me, Lundy?
Oh, we're going very low scoring. We're talking Barry White, brother. We're going low. I'm calling Bucs 17, Saints 14, which means I'm hurting without that hook, my man. I'm hurting just a little.
Yeah, it's a really good line. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, if you want to play this, do a SGP/OGP, maybe take Tampa on the money line just to win straight up. Then boost that total up to like, 45.5, maybe 46.5, slap the two together and get it at low plus odds. It's probably the best strategy to really play this game. I'm with you, man. I think it could be like 13-10, 17-14, 20-17, within that range. I don't really feel good about any kind of prediction outside of that. So I'm going to build in some cushion so I can avoid a lot of the pushing in the sports betting market and hopefully secure some cold, hard cash in the end. So with the Saints, with the Buccaneer bets on the board, let's get after it on some of our favorite player props with another edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
Kickers are people, though I do question it, and I would certainly sit on the stand in a court of law and point fingers because I don't believe they're really people. Maybe they're robotic in nature, manufactured somewhere. I have no idea. But tonight, Ryan Suckup, hopefully you're not going to live down to your last name. And I'm going to take the over here on 7.5 points. Minus 125 at BetMGM. So I did a little digging, and it's really rare for me to research anything on place kickers, but the trends are my friend in this instance. Suckup has been over 7.5 points in a game 5 times this year. He had 8 points scored against the Saints in week 2 in that first matchup. And New Orleans has allowed 9 kickers, 9, to go over 7.5 points in a given contest. So there's a lot of flexibility with them on defense between the 20s, but they've hardened. They have stiffened inside the red zone. So as a result, they've shut down a lot of offenses trying to punch it in for 6. And as a result, Ryan Suckup coming out here and splits the uprights for 3. And I think it's going to happen tonight as well. He has 23 of 26 field goals. I'm no mathematician, so I had to look this number up. That's 88.5%. Through the upright. So Ryan Suckup, give me the over, 7.5 points scored, minus 125, a little heavier juice here at BetMGM, but still worth a ticket. Lundy, fade or follow?
So here's the thing. If you follow my prediction, then he hits the under on this. The problem is I also really actually like this bet. So if for some reason, like I gave you 17-14, let's say this thing winds up like 16-14. Well, then get down with your bad self, Ryan Suckup, because that actually hits the over. So tell you what, despite my prediction, I'm like you. I actually do not have a good feel for this game, and I'm a lot more excited about the player props, even though I'm kind of about some of those too. But this is actually one of the ones that I really like because I think you say kickers are people too. Thanks, Rich Eisen. I actually believe this is going to be a kick fest, man. I think this is going to be a little hat tip to the World Cup, and we're going to see the kickers way more than we want to tonight.
How about 9-6, Tampa in the end, 3-6-9. Hey, that's still a over. Don't suck. Suck up.
Number 4.
All right, let's live in the land down under and cue the minute work there in the background. And I'm going to look at Taysom Hill here, who has been a point of controversy, if you will, in the world of fantasy football because of the tight end eligibility, and he rarely catches passes. He's more used as an option quarterback than anything else. And tonight, I'm going to take the under on 25.5 rush yards. Pull this from DraftKings at -115. You look at Taysom Hill, he's only hit the over in a game 6 times this year, so he's been under the other 5 matchups. He has played around 54% of the snaps over the last couple of weeks, so that is a friendly trend, and he's usually getting 4 to 6 rush attempts per game, but he had 3 attempts for 14 yards on the ground in the first clash with Tampa back in week 2. And yeah, you look at the Buccaneers giving up 4.44 yards per carry and 95.3 yards per game to the running back position. And that's very uncharacteristic based on some of the recent brands that have trotted out for this Buccaneers squad. But I'm not buying it with Taysom Hill. I think it's going to be more of the same that we saw back in week 2, probably on, another 3 to 5 rush attempts. He's going to get bottled up on the ground, and as a result, I'm taking that under on his 25.5 rush yards. Lundy, fade or follow, -115 at DraftKings.
Take the under. And no, he's not a tight end. Would you knock it off already? He's not. I've said this a million times. He is a glorified Tim Tebow. That's all he is. Jiminy Christmas, all these fantasy folks. I bet you're glad, Brad, that you are not at your former employer where you had to deal with this crap all the time like you used to. I remember that. You used to get beat up on social media. Brad, you've got to fix this. You've got to, as though I
got no control.
Right. I love you to death, man, but you don't have that kind of power. Okay? No. You don't have that kind of power. And Taysom Hill's not going to have that kind of power tonight either. Take the under.
Yes, I have the power of Grayskull and the power to bet the under on Taysom Hill.
Number 3.
All right, this is complete guesswork at tape time. There is no prop available on this, and I don't give a crap what it opens at. I am smashing the over. Almost sledgehammer style. And I can't believe this is not number 1 on the Fade 5 today. It's just because again, I'm kind of clacking and roll the dice, not knowing what this number is going to be. But whatever it opens at, Rachaad White, I am slamming the over on receptions. I'm guessing it's going to be 3.5 tonight. You might want to jump on that early if it is that low before it gets juiced up. This is all contingent on whether or not Leonard Fournette is in or out of the lineup. Trends are with that hip ailment, he is going to be on the sidelines. Or even if he does play, he's probably going to register, maybe 35, 40% of the overall snap share. Rachaad White last week ran 31 routes. He was targeted 9 times and caught 9 passes. He was 9 for 9 on targets and receptions. And you know the nature of Tom Brady. It's all about the dink and dunk. He's got to nibble at you. He's got to take those very small gains here and there, try to put himself in like third and manageable situations. And a lot of that work is going to come at the benefit of Rachaad White. So even again, if Fournette plays tonight, I believe that White will hit the over on 3.5 receptions. You look at New Orleans, they got up 4 receptions and 26.1 yards per game, the running back position this season. And White, too, top 25 in yards per route run and top 30 in yards per reception at the RB position. But I don't care about yards. I just care about catches. And again, I'm guessing and hopeful that the number opens at 3.5, and it does. I'm taking the over. Lundy. Are you with me? Fade or follow on that Rachaad White, whatever it is, over receptions at whatever juice, at whatever book. Do you like it?
You're doing this again. Remember, we've already discussed this. When you start throwing up the X, okay, when it's just like, I don't know, fill in the blank, but let's bet on it. But you just, I can't with just the blind faith. I mean, come on, I've seen some of your asshole picks, okay? I mean, sometimes that shit sucks. And I can't just blindly follow you. So let's play a game, Brad. Let's play a game. The number opens at 4.5.
Over.
5.5.
No, under. Okay. It's a no play for me. If 4.5 is kind of the breaking point, and I'm going to say this. If it does open at 4.5, I bet you're going to get that at low plus odds, to be honest. Okay. I really, truly believe the number is going to be 3.5, and it may initially be at minus 115 when that opens, but it's going to probably get juiced up to like minus 150 in a hurry. So sprint. If you blow a hammy, crawl as quickly as you can to the nearest online sports book to place that wager on the over 3.5, but I would still play it on the 4.5 if it is indeed plus money.
These are important things for us to establish, okay? I just need to know, like, it's okay that it's not posted yet. I can live with that, but I can't live with this just, I don't even care, sledgehammer. Well, you know, I mean, we're dabbling in other people's money here, man. Be careful. That's all I'm saying. Just be careful.
Screw being careful. I'm betting the over on Rachaad White.
Number 2.
Numero dos here on the Fade 5. Let's do an SGP and come with me, hopefully, Lundy, on this one. I'm going to go Chris Godwin, 55 plus receiving yards, and I'm going to match that together with Tampa Bay on the money line. So a little bit of correlate, synergize, bring it all together, unless the Buccaneers are getting blown out and Godwin's accumulating this in garbage time, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Both those events occur plus 125 at DraftKings. You look at Chris Godwin in his career, 10 games against the Fleur-de-Lis, averaging 65.5 yards per contest. He's hit the over on this 55 plus in 6 of 9 games this year. And it's going to get a lot of the former Bronco, Chris Harris, out of the slot, who has been a generous defensive back this season, giving up a 118.4 passer rating to his assignments. So, you know, you pulled it all together, add it all up, carry the one. I think Godwin's going to get more than a double nickel in receiving yards. And again, I think Tampa's going to win this game. It's probably going to be a field goal, which is going to put a push on the current line. But again, I just need them to score the W. And if they do that, I score a cool plus 125 at DraftKings. Fade or follow.
I like this one. I'm good with this. The Tampa Bay money line part, I'm not going to lie. Like, weirder things have happened, okay? This hasn't been TB12's year, both on and off the field. You know, things haven't exactly been going his way. So I'm a little nervous about what to expect out of the Bucs, but this is a hell of a lot better play than dealing with the spread. So throw those Godwin numbers in there, which I think the leg, if we're just looking at the Godwin 55 plus, was right around 220, 225 on the minus end. So you put in the money line, you get yourself into positive territory. 2 legs, good enough for me.
Oh, it's good enough for Lundy? It should be good enough for you too.
Number 1.
All right, now, admittedly, we've seen some significant line movement on this player prop. I had it number 1 early this morning. I would not put it at number 1. Hell, just move Rachaad White receptions, whatever the number is at number 1. And slide this down to number 3, but for the sake of podcasting, it's still number 1, and that is on the Alvin Kamara, and I'm still taking the over at 30.5 receiving yards. Minus 115 at BetMGM. I don't feel as strongly on this as I did, just a few hours ago, but I'm still willing to clack and roll those dice on the over. Why? Because you look at Alvin Kamara, he's averaging 21.1 routes run per game. How frequently he is deployed as a wide receiver. He's number 7 in yards per reception at the running back position, number 6 in yards per route run, and he's number 3 in overall target percentage at the RB position. He has been over this number, I believe, in 6 of 10 games, but Tampa has been incredibly unrelenting to pass catching running backs this season. And this is the counter argument here. They've allowed just 3.3 receptions and only 17.6 receiving yards to running back position. The only two running backs hit the over against the Buccaneers this year on this line. And keep in mind, Kamara did not play in that first matchup earlier this season. But Deonta Foreman hit the over, and Kenneth Walker III also went over on this number. So I think it's going to be close. It's going to be tight, but unlikely, 5, maybe a maximum of 6 receptions. I think Kamara finishes with, I'm not exaggerating here, like 31 or 32 yards. If you want a same game or OGP this down a little bit further and match it together with something else of your liking to get it at low minus odds or low plus odds, I think that is a recommended maneuver. But for the sake, again, of this wager, fade or follow Alvin Kamara. Maybe you're a little bit more emphatic than I am on this, I guess, over 30.5 receiving yards, minus 115 at BetMGM.
I've never seen you slide so reluctantly.
Hey, I got the number at 26.5. I liked it at 26.5. I think it's going to be like 28, 29 yards. And then you put 30 and a hook in. Screw that.
I'm not even sure I like it at 26.5, Brad. I'm staying under on this one because of how Tampa has been. You're right. The problem is we don't have a Kamara game from earlier this season in that 20-10 game to be able to compare it to know what his usage could look like against the Bucs. This is one I would stay away from. I think you should have put Rashad. You should have put White up at number 1. You look, man, what do I tell people all the time? TYG, trust your gut, brother. Trust your gut. And you should have put Rashad at number 1. You failed the people now. You failed the people.
Yes, and since I failed the people, by all means, fade the living crap out of me, including some of this additional action. It's bonus time, Lundy. What else do you like? Maybe in the NHL, the NBA, college basketball. We got an early matchup between Ooey Pooey and Green Bay, which may be the worst possible matchup in college basketball imaginable, but am I willing to bet on it? Yeah, of course I am. But what do you got on your card on this Monday?
Well, I had I got a little lucky on a parlay yesterday, so I've got some money to lose, Brad. I've got money to lose, so I might as well roll the dice and start losing it. My bonus time picks are all in the world of hockey, and then one tweak on a same gamer that you did that I had actually put together that I'll share with you as well. But let me go to the ice first and foremost. Brad, the Boston Bruins have started the season 14-0 at home. They have yet to lose at home. Vegas is coming in tonight to face off with the Bees. The Golden Knights actually had a 9-game winning streak earlier this season, but they've only won 2 out of their last 5. They are slipping a bit. Now they're on the road. Boston is on fire at home. I'm going to take, and Boston's heavily favored, by the way, so I'm going to take Boston in regulation. So take them on the 60-minute line or in regulation, 3-way. The books reference it differently, but basically Boston to win without overtime. That brings the juice down to a minus 115. I also like this 3-leg money line. If you want to roll this way, Vancouver, Calgary, and Boston. Put all 3 of those guys together, just straight money line. That is a plus 207. And we love the gifts. The goal in the first 10. Tonight's 2-legger is that Vegas-Boston game I was just talking about. And we're going to throw in Montreal and Vancouver. They're playing that one at the Canucks home ice. Put those 2 together on a 2-leg gift. It is a plus 149. And then quickly back to Monday Night Football. I did a little tweak on something. I put together 2 things that I was interested in, and it actually turned out to work for you. So I like Chris Godwin for an anytime touchdown tonight at plus 175. I think touchdowns are going to be at a premium, but I think if it happens, I could easily see Godwin doing it. Remember, he's only got 2 touchdowns this year, but they're in back-to-back weeks. It's just happened these last 2 weeks. I say he makes it 3 in a row. So if you want to go all Godwin all the time, Brad, your 55-plus receiving yards combined with that anytime touchdown is a plus 235.
Ooh, yeah, get seduced by the juice and suck me in as well. I think that's a great call. Sticking in the Monday night affair, the other one prop that I really like. It grabbed my attention immediately because it's my cousin, Mike Evans. And again, he's the one that is definitely born with all the athleticism in the family. But I'm taking the over on 22.5 yards, longest reception. This is minus 115 at BetMGM. He's going to get a whole lot of pulse and a Debo in coverage. And I know he's got a storied history of Marshawn Lattimore, but he's not playing tonight. Debo is. And Debo's allowed a 71.7 catch rate and also a 127 flat passer rating in his assignments. Evans has done this 9 times, including the first matchup against the Saints. He had a 41-yard reception in that game. We know that he is a deep ball specialist. Number 4 in total deep targets. Number 8 in total air yards. And here's something that's interesting. Number 5 among all wide receivers in unrealized air yards. Those are misconnections between him and Brady, but Brady is still taking those chances down the field with my cousin. So I think they're going to finally, hopefully, sync up on one of these. And he's going to hit the over again on 22.5 yards, longest catch. All right, let's go to the world of college basketball. And I'm going to do an SGP, and I put this together at DraftKings on the Gonzaga-Kent State matchup, which could be sneaky good. I know the Zags are favored by 14.5 at tape time because Kent State's actually not that bad. They're a team that's top 150 according to Bart Torvik and Ken Palm, and they play fast. They are top 75 in the country in adjusted tempo. You know the Zags are one of the fastest teams in the country as well, and one of the most offensively efficient, number 2 in the nation in offensive efficiency, number 21 in effective field goal percentage offense. Gonzaga shooting 55.6% inside the arc and 38.9% outside of it, and they're number 21 in adjusted tempo. So here's how I'm playing this. I'm going to take Gonzaga down to 7.5. They have been far from the covering machines that we've seen prior versions of, so building in a little bit of a cushion there. I'm going to take Kent State 63-plus points scored because of the up-tempo style of this game, and playing into that and leaning it to a little bit heavier, I'm going to take the over on the alt total of 145.5. So again, Gonzaga minus 7.5. Kent State 63-plus points scored, and the over 145.5, that's plus 110 at DraftKings. So, again, get seduced by some of those plus odds there. I also like the Portland squad against North Dakota State, who's phenomenal at football, all the titles they've won at the D2 level, but they're horrific at basketball. So I'm taking Portland minus 9 on the first half line. Portland, one of the best first half teams in the country, plus 4.9 points in total margin there. But you look at North Dakota State, one of the worst. Number 355 out of 363 in first half rating with a minus 13.5 points margin, which is the 5th worst in college basketball this year. Portland's been outstanding so far this season, especially from distance, shooting 39.3%. They also get to the line early and often and convert at 78.5%. So I think Portland's going to be up by double figures come the intermission. So give me them minus 9 on the first half line. And then in the NBA, Josh Giddey. Double-double, whatever the number is, I am in on it. He has done that 9 times this season. He's done it back-to-back games. He's averaging 14.7 points per game, 7.7 rebounds per game, 5.6 assists per game. He gets the Atlanta Hawks tonight, and you know this game is going to be zip, 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 up and down because both these teams play at a fast pace. OKC, number 5 in pace in the NBA, and the Atlanta Hawks, number 8 in pace in the NBA. So Giddey, I think, is going to be a busy man across the board tonight. Points, rebounds, assists. I kind of like the over 2 on PRA, but I think he gets a double-double, likely in points and rebounds. Whatever that number is, I am in on it. All right, we are out of time here on the Fade 5 podcast. Rate and review us, would you kindly, if you enjoy this broadcast. Also, fade or follow all of our picks. We created spreadsheets. They are accessible and free to the public. You can, fade or follow our selections there. Tail us, whatever you want to do. roll and smoke those documents you want to print out. It doesn't matter to me. My picks, you can follow me at Noisy Huevos. Lundy and his selections, follow him at Nate Lundy on the Twitter. As always, for Nate Lundy, I'm Brad Evans. Until next time, feed or follow. That is up to you.